we begin this balanced mind practice by bringing ourselves into a comfortable seated posture, the body upright, stable, at ease. And as we explore the relationship between our attention and what we know in the moment and our awareness and what we experience more fully, more broadly, we take in the field of awareness around us and within us. And as a reminder of what some of these elements are, they include sound. And without trying, you are listening to sounds, this voice, and whatever else may be arising in this moment. Sights, what you see before you. And by glancing around the room, so much comes into view, is seen, without trying, without reaching out, selecting, picking and choosing. It's there, and you're aware. There may be an aroma, and without making an effort, you smell. There may be flavors on the taste buds, and without trying, you are aware of what there is to taste. And there is this body, and you're making contact with the chair or the cushion beneath you and behind you. The feel of cloth against skin, the temperature of the air. Then you're aware. As we turn our attention in these various domains of sensory input, we privilege one domain over the other. And in addition to that which is arising around us, there are also thoughts. And we don't have to try to be aware of the arising of thoughts, to just sit and notice. And feelings, whatever you're feeling in this moment, you are aware. Balanced mind and the practice that we are engaging in has us recognize the fullness of our experience that need not be sought out. We're not going to be consciously aware of every sight and every sound and every taste and every thought and every feeling, etc., that comes and goes. But there is the fullness of our present moment experience in terms of what we're aware of just by being here. That this practice invites us to explore. So know that there is much taking place around you and within you. And this is a practice that invites us to be here for our experience, moment by moment. In some ways, it is like an open monitoring practice or an open awareness practice, where we're not picking and choosing and privileging and focusing on anything in particular. We're just present for our experience as it is. But we are also interested in resting our attention in the knowing of an object, not of focusing on and latching onto an object and returning to that object every time we notice that our mind has wandered. But like a focused attention practice, in this practice there is the object that we know, like this breath. Right now, there is the knowing of this breath. It's part of what's arising in the field of awareness, along with everything else. And we'll begin the coming together of attention and awareness, balanced mind aspect of this practice with the breath as the object that is known. It's known with a light touch, like a butterfly that's landed on a flower. It's not gripping the flower. It's not focusing all of its attention on the flower, but it knows it's on the flower while the world is before it. And so as there is this light touch, this light knowing of this breath, and so as you are knowing this breath, you also are seeing what's around you, hearing the sounds, and so on. Let us lower or close our eyes, whichever you prefer, so that we can come to know this breath simply because it's here. And so like that butterfly that ever so gently lands on the flower, rest, settle, land your attention ever so gently on the breath. And without turning attention to it, you know sounds, the temperature of the air, the sight of the lids covering your eyes. Resting gently on the breath, aware all the same. Importantly, we're not shifting our attention between the breath and things arising in the fullness of our experience, like a sound or the temperature of the air. We're holding open the larger knowing of that which is arising in the field of our awareness. While knowing and remembering and resting gently on the breath. It's finding a sweet spot, like that butterfly finds when it lands on the flower and it stretches and moves its wings, taking in the fullness of its experience. Let's rest in this way in this way of knowing for a few moments. There will be moments where the breath is less known. We lose touch with it, much as if the wind were to come along and for a moment lift the butterfly off the flower. But this breath, like the flower, is right there, and the butterfly lands, and we remember, and once again are resting gently, lightly on the breath, with the fullness of our experience, whatever it may be, also known to us. In many ways, this is an effortless state. We're not trying to know all that is in the field of awareness. It is known without trying. And we're not trying to focus and return to again and again the breath as the object of attention. It's a gentle knowing, a light remembering, a resting. And to enlarge in the field of awareness around the knowing of the breath, lift the gaze, open the eyes. And as you breathe, knowing this breath, take in the fullness of your experience, whatever it may be in this moment, which now has a bit more color and objects in your midst. Resting on the breath, aware. Resting and aware. And because this resting and aware, this balanced mind practice does not depend on the breath, in fact, it's very portable. Wherever we are, whatever we know or find important to rest our attention on, we can also be more fully aware of that which is arising. So shift attention, this resting, this light, gentle touch to an object like a book or a picture or something that is close by, and have it be that which is known. By selecting it, you know it. And as you see this object before you, you also are aware of that which is around it. You don't have to try to notice that which is around it. There is the knowing of it. And so a light resting, a gentle knowing of this object, this book, this picture frame, this pen, whatever it may be, while also seeing, knowing that there is more to this moment. And without necessarily seeking it out, so too there are sounds. So too there is the temperature of the air. So too there is so much. We're not investigating or searching it out or cataloging whatever else there is. We are just knowing. We can shift that gentle knowing from the object that we're looking at to a sound. To have a gentle knowing of a sound, perhaps a somewhat persistent sound in your environment. It could be this voice, could be the hum of an air conditioner. And as you rest gently on that sound, you see there's other things to hear. There's thoughts, there's feelings, there's the air. There's this sweet spot of knowing this object, aware of our experience more fully. If you're speaking with someone, you can know there they are. You don't have to focus intently on them to know they're there. And you can see and hear and broaden the field of awareness around them to find that sweet spot. You may be having a thought. A thought comes along and turns your attention turns towards it. That could be the thing that you know, as you also take in the larger aspect of that which is arising in the field of awareness. We'll close this practice by lowering or closing our eyes again, knowing this breath, this gentle, light touch on the breath. Aware. And when you're ready, in the next moment or two, with an awareness of doing so, lifting the gaze, opening the eyes, and spending a few moments or as long as you'd like, knowing an object of your choosing, like the breath, or a book, or perhaps something you have been wrestling with in the mind, attending to it with a light touch, a gentle knowing, a resting like the butterfly on the object, aware of all that is arising as it is made known to you, without your having to try to find it, without it needing to mean anything, but the knowing that you are present for your experience. And through practicing this in this way, as we make our way into interactions with others and moments of reading and studying, listening, we find perhaps that at times we notice how we might have our attention being pulled into the thing, or perhaps pulled into even our own thought about the thing. And here we are practicing a way to release, to rest with a more gentle knowing of that object within the larger sense of our experience, and how that might influence and affect the ways that we take in information and how we feel as we navigate through the moments of our life.